Honestly, I'm shocked. I mean, I'm stunned. I am absolutely gobsmacked. मुझे विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा है, इसीलिए अभी तक मैंने अपने कपड़े नहीं उतारे हैं और शो के ही स्टूडियो में अभी तक बैठा हुआ हूँ. Saudi Arabia have ended Argentina's 36 मैच अनबीटन स्ट्रीक. और जिसको लग रहा था लियोनेल मेसी की अर्जेंटीना जो है वो न केवल इस मैच में बल्कि इस वर्ल्ड कप में फेवरेट्स है, उन्हें मुंह की खानी पड़ी है. सो यूजुअली तो मैं प्रीव्यूज करता हूं, लेकिन अर्जेंटीना की इस हार की कहानी तो आपको बतानी पड़ेगी. तो एक बढ़िया सा रिव्यू आपके लिए लेके आए हैं इस मैच का, और साथ ही आगे बढ़ के देखेंगे जर्मनी और स्पेन के मुकाबले की तरफ. तो आप एंजॉय कीजिए ये रिव्यू / प्रीव्यू, और लाइक करें तो शेयर भी कर लीजिएगा और थोड़े से कमेंट्स भी डाल दीजिएगा और बताइएगा कि आप कितने स्टन्ड और शॉक्ड हैं मेरी तरह इस अर्जेंटीना के रिजल्ट के बाद. चलिए सच बताइए, how many of you actually, realistically thought that Saudi Arabia are going to be able to pull this off? That's exactly how it happened. So सलाम करता हूं मैं उन लोगों को जिन्होंने पंट लिया था सऊदी अरेबिया पे, क्योंकि यार जो भी आप खा रहे हैं, जिससे आपकी प्रेडिक्शन हो रही है, बिल्कुल वही करते रहिए जिंदगी में. But what a result this is, right? Let's just try and quantify what happened at the LUSAIL iconic stadium. By the way, this is the stadium where the final will be held. तो सभी को इंतजार था कि लुसैल आइकॉनिक स्टेडियम, जो कि इस वर्ल्ड कप का सबसे शानदार स्टेडियम है, उसमें जब मेसी उतरेंगे, द वर्ल्ड कप हैज बीन वेटिंग फॉर मेसी. मे बी दिस इज हिज बेस्ट चांस इन हिज 5th वर्ल्ड कप टू एक्चुअली गो एंड पिक अप दैट ट्रॉफी. एंड सऊदी अरेबिया कुड हैव बीन द इजीएस्ट चैलेंज परहैप्स, राइट? बट एज लक वुड हैव इट, इट वाजंट टू बी. और इट वॉज ऑलमोस्ट टू बी, बिकॉज इन द फर्स्ट 10 मिनट्स ऐसा लगा कि शायद किस्मत उनके साथ है यार, क्योंकि पहले 10 मिनट में परेडेस जो है वो नीचे गिरे बॉक्स में और पेनल्टी मिली. और हु स्टेप्स अप? द ग्रेट मैन ऑफ कोर्स, लियोनेल मेसी कन्वर्ट्स हिज पेनल्टी, नो प्रॉब्लम्स व्हाटसोएवर, स्कोर्स हिज 92nd गोल फॉर अर्जेंटीना, एंड थिंग्स वर लुकिंग क्वाइट रोजी. एक्चुअली अगर आप हाफ टाइम तक देखें तो अगर लोटारो मार्टिनेज और लियोनेल मेसी थोड़ा सा अपने आप को ऑन साइड रखते तो गेस व्हाट, स्कोर लाइन 3 या 4-0 भी हो सकती थी. उसके साथ सऊदी अरेबिया की समस्या थोड़ी सी और बढ़ गई, बिकॉज देयर कैप्टन अल फराज वेंट ऑफ इंजर्ड. सो नाउ हियर इज द सिचुएशन, राइट? लुसैल आइकॉनिक स्टेडियम, जो कि कतर का ऑलमोस्ट एक नया एस्टैब्लिश्ड घर है. सऊदी अरेबिया और कतर बिटर राइवल्स हैं. वहां पे सऊदी अरेबिया खेल रही है मेसी की अर्जेंटीना के खिलाफ. 1 गोल डाउन है, मेसी ने गोल मार दिया और अपना कप्तान वो खो चुके हैं. व्हाट हैपेंस देन? कम द सेकंड हाफ, an absolutely different Saudi Arabia comes out. They played some bold and brilliant and brave football, और वही देखने को मिला. पहले अल शहरी ने गोल मारा और उसके बाद अल दौसरी का गोल अगर आपने नहीं देखा तो प्लीज जाके एक बार देख लीजिए, because that is a goal worthy of winning any game of football, let alone this one against Argentina. Like I was saying, let's just quantify this win for Saudi Arabia in terms of some of the shocks that have happened in World Cup history, right? Why are people calling it like a seismic result, like एक ऐसा रिजल्ट जिसने धरती हिला दी हो? इसलिए क्योंकि हिस्टोरिकली देखा जाए तो यूएसए ने इंग्लैंड को हराया था 1950 में, मुझे याद आता है 1-0 की स्कोर लाइन थी. स्विट्जरलैंड ने स्पेन को हराया था 2010 में, बट स्पेन वेंट ऑन टू विन द वर्ल्ड कप दैट ईयर. देन अल्जीरिया बीट वेस्ट जर्मनी इन द 1982 वर्ल्ड कप, एंड इफ आई रिमेंबर करेक्टली देन गाना बीट द चेक रिपब्लिक 2-0 very, very long ago. I think it was 2006 or something like that. This is right up there with some of the biggest shocks or the biggest upsets that the World Cup has ever seen. And just to take our memory back to 1990, जिस वर्ल्ड कप में डिएगो मैराडोना की टीम जो है फाइनल तक पहुंची थी, उसमें भी अर्जेंटीना ने अपना पहला मुकाबला हारा था. So all is not lost, but this is up there with the biggest shocks. The other reason why it's one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history is because ये कोई मामूली अर्जेंटीना की टीम नहीं है. ये सिर्फ हाइप पे नहीं चल रही है. ये एक ऐसी टीम थी जो कि लियोनेल स्कलोनी, जो उनके मैनेजर है, उनके अंडर 36 मैचों से अनबीटन थी. 36 मैच अनबीटन रन. What's the world record? 37, set by Italy quite recently. If they had been unbeaten in this game and maybe in another game, they would have set a new world record. Out of those 36 matches that they were unbeaten in, Argentina ने actually 26 मैच अपने जीते थे. 2019 से ये टीम हारी नहीं है, और हारती किससे? जाके सऊदी अरेबिया से. I mean, the scenes were fantastic, right? I was in the studio with Sol Campbell and Luis Figo and just looking at their reactions, and मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि यार इतनी बड़ी लेवल पे ये लोग खेल चुके हैं और इनको भी इतना बड़ा शॉक लग रहा है. And honestly, hand on my heart, Saudi Arabia completely deserved to win this. I know some of you are Argentina fans, and possibly if you look deep down inside, you will agree with me as well. Because जिस तरह की फुटबॉल सऊदी अरेबिया ने खेली, they really came at Argentina. They did not look like they're also rans. This is a Saudi Arabia team which is actually the second lowest ranked team out of the 32 teams in the World Cup. Only Ghana is below them. which just tells you the magnitude of this achievement. So well done to Saudi Arabia, and especially because Qatar ने पहले दिन खेला, Asian team 2-0 से हार गई. In fact, 2-0 is probably not the right way to summarize that result, because Qatar actually never really looked like competing as Asian champions that they are. Then what happens on day 2? England completely brush aside the challenge of Iran. 6-2 की scoreline से Iran, जो कि नंबर 20th रैंक टीम है, यहाँ पे सऊदी अरेबिया 50 से ज्यादा की उनकी रैंकिंग है, और उनके सामने नंबर 3 रैंक्ड अर्जेंटीना विद लियोनेल मेसी, Lautaro Martinez, Angel Di Maria, Paredes, and Rodrigo De Paul, and Otamendi, and Romero, and Emiliano Martinez in goal. बट ये सब नाम है और ये कागज पे अच्छे लगते हैं, बिकॉज फुटबॉल जो है वो पिच पे खेली जाती है, एंड इट्स प्लेड इन द स्पेस बिटवीन द ईयर्स, एंड सऊदी अरेबिया showed a lot of heart, a lot of courage. So obviously that is why I'm getting all excited and passionate about it, because that is the kind of result this World Cup needed to tell some of the superpowers going around the world that never underestimate any country at a stage like this. Well done Saudi Arabia, but from an Argentinian standpoint, it's not all lost. I'll tell you why, because उसी के ठीक बाद मेक्सिको और पोलैंड का गेम हुआ. ये दोनों टीमें जो कि अर्जेंटीना और सऊदी अरेबिया के साथ एक ही ग्रुप में हैं, उसमें लेवेंडोव्स्की जी ने अपनी पेनल्टी मिस कर दी. So as a result, the game ended 0-0, which has just given a glimmer of hope to Argentina कि चलो पहला मैच हार गए, लेकिन दूसरी टीमों ने भी कुछ ज्यादा आगे प्रोग्रेस नहीं की है. So the difference is not too much, and I'm expecting Argentina to bounce back in this, because they're a quality side, right? एक गेम से जो है आपकी क्लास डिफाइन नहीं होती है और आपकी एबिलिटी डिफाइन नहीं होती, बट एक गेम से सऊदी अरेबिया का फ्यूचर शायद डिफाइन हो जाए, बिकॉज दीज आर द काइंड ऑफ रिजल्ट्स दैट कैन स्विंग अराउंड योर फॉर्चून्स, गिव सम बिलीव टू नॉट जस्ट यू बट द लाइक्स ऑफ जापान एंड साउथ कोरिया हु आर टू प्ले लेटर इन द वर्ल्ड कप. जस्ट गिव्स देम दैट बिट ऑफ ऑप्टिमिज्म, बिट ऑफ बिलीव कि अगर वो कर सकते हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं. और सऊदी अरेबिया से ही आती है हमारी अगली कहानी. वेल, टेक्निकली yes, maybe technically not, but मैं थोड़ा सा लाइसेंस लेता हूं यहां पे. Did you know that Cristiano Ronaldo could have signed for a Saudi Arabian club for £305 million transfer fee? That's right, but he didn't. He didn't go to Manchester City either, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने एक्सप्लोसिव इंटरव्यू जो कि उन्होंने पियर्स मॉर्गन को दिया, उसमें कहा that he called up the boss, as he calls Sir Alex Ferguson, and Sir Alex Ferguson told him आपको मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड वापस चले जाना चाहिए. तो वही रियल मैड्रिड का रास्ता तय करने के 11 साल बाद यूवेंटस होते हुए क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो वापस पहुंच गए अपने डेजिग्नेटेड होम, विच इज ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड / मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड. But that marriage didn't last very long. And why I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo is because straight after the shock result at the LUSAIL iconic stadium, जहां पे मेसी की अर्जेंटीना को सऊदी अरेबिया ने हराया, उसी के बाद ये खबर आई कि मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड एंड क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो हैव म्यूचुअली एग्रीड to part ways. अब कहानी कुछ भी हो दोनों तरफ की, eventually it has all stemmed from that explosive interview जो कि क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो ने पियर्स मॉर्गन, जो कि एक जर्नलिस्ट हैं यूके में, उनको दिया, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि उन्होंने मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड में कोई एवोल्यूशन नहीं देखा है. वो नाखुश हैं न केवल क्लब से, जिस तरीके से क्लब मैनेज किया जा रहा है, और एरिक टेन हाग से, and he said that I have absolutely no respect for him because he does not respect me. Now, whatever you guys think about the comments, you can let us know in the comments below on this YouTube. But more significantly, Cristiano Ronaldo के point of view से अगर देखा जाए, तो let's just quantify this in terms of numbers, right? Now, this guy was their top goal scorer in the season across all competitions last time around. इस season ऐसा लगा कि चलिए, maybe because he's in good goal scoring form, Man United with some new signings can benefit and actually compete for Champions League places. He still had 7 months left on his £500,000 a week contract. Just to quantify that in Indian rupees, that's 50 crores a week. In Indian rupees that he used to earn every week. He still had 7 months left on the contract. एस्टन विला के खिलाफ उन्हें कैप्टन बनाया गया था कुछ महीने पहले, जहां पे 3-1 से हारी थी मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड. उसके बाद टॉटनम के साथ एक मैच था जिसमें उन्होंने बेंच से आने से मना कर दिया था अपने मैनेजर को. इसकी वजह से डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शन लिया गया, उन्हें चेल्सी की ट्रिप पे ले जाया नहीं गया. एंड एज थिंग्स स्टैंड, दैट हैड टू बी द लास्ट कंट्रीब्यूशन that Cristiano Ronaldo could not make to Manchester United, right? So eventually this marriage is over, the divorce has been finalized, the papers have been signed as well. What do you guys make of this, right? Because on one side, a section of fans, जितना मैं पढ़ता आ रहा हूँ, वो कह रहे हैं कि Cristiano Ronaldo is a disgrace, उन्हें मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के साथ ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था, he should have respected the club, no player is bigger than the club and all of that. On the other side, Cristiano has maintained that a lot of people said a lot of things about me, most of it is untrue, some of it may be true, and I'm writing it all down in a diary, and one day I will speak, and how he spoke. और जब उन्होंने बोला तो इतना दिल खोल दिया कि शायद काफी सारे फैंस को निराश भी कर दिया. लेकिन एक दूसरा पर्सपेक्टिव भी है कि क्या रोनाल्डो ने जब अपना साइलेंस तोड़ा तो whatever he is trying to say is very similar to what perhaps Jose Mourinho, the former manager of Manchester United, said कि there are problems at the club with the ownership and the management and maybe the coaching as well. So all is not well clearly in Manchester United. But the truth of the matter is that Cristiano Ronaldo is no longer going to be a Man United player. I mean, what does he do next, right? Maybe you guys can tell me a little bit. In my head, I'm thinking, does he want to still play Champions League football? Because, you know, he's been ever so good. He's one of the greatest players ever to play Champions League football. Of course, won plenty of Ballon d'Ors as well. Does he just want to earn more money now? Otherwise, he could have gone to Saudi Arabia as well now that this marriage is over. Does he just want to play in perhaps a better climate, right? अब तो 37 साल का हो गया बंदा यार, last World Cup खेल रहा है अभी, so he's got nothing to prove to the world as well. So maybe he can just relax and just put his feet up and say, right, now just bring the cash, enjoy the climate, and that's it. What do you guys think? What should be his next step? What do you think he's thinking in his head? Because obviously he said that none of this chat around me is going to affect my Portuguese teammates. I will speak when I want to speak. So he's pretty out there about what he feels about himself, about his team, and currently his focus is obviously on Portugal. Just to let you guys know that Portugal are in Group H at the moment, and they're going to be playing the likes of Ghana, which is the first game for Portugal, where Cristiano Ronaldo will hopefully be captaining, and Portugal have a great side, right? So he pretty much has a shot at the World Cup as well. But the truth of the matter is, the Manchester United story, unfortunately, which looked like a fairy tale story, has ended quite tragically for him. Alright, so Messi and Ronaldo will definitely like to forget 22-11-22, a date certainly not meant for them. So let's look ahead to 23rd November, shall we? Where two fantastic teams are in action, because we're going to get the first glimpse of Group E. World Cup शुरू होने से पहले काफी सारे लोगों ने Group E को the group of death declare कर दिया था. अब जिस तरह के results पहले 4 ग्रुप में आए हैं, you never know, maybe things are about to change. But there is no doubt कि स्पेन और जर्मनी एक ही ग्रुप में, उसके साथ जापान है और कोस्टा रिका है. This is really one of the tastiest groups to watch out for. And it all begins today. So let's begin with Germany and Japan, shall we? जापान की बात करें तो वैसे तो सब कुछ अच्छा है. Asian powerhouses माने जाते हैं. Hopefully Saudi Arabia से they'll take some inspiration as well. But the truth of the matter is that out of their last 8 World Cup matches, Japan have only won 1. That happened to be in the opening game of the last World Cup where they beat Colombia. And they still went through to the next round. How, you may ask? On yellow cards. Because they had fewer yellow cards than Senegal. I mean, seriously, this is one of the most bizarre ways I've seen any team go to the knockout stages. But Japan managed to do that. Google kar lijiye. Look it up, because this is actually pretty funny. But unfortunately, Japan's journey ended over there. Now, Japan have an interesting squad जहाँ पे लगभग 7 या 8 प्लेयर जो हैं वो actually जापानीज बुंडेसलीगा में खेलते हैं, और बाकी जो प्लेयर हैं वो लगभग सारे के सारे जो हैं वो जापान में खेलते हैं. So while 8 players in their squad are very well aware of the German machinery and the Bundesliga, some of the other players have absolutely had no taste of international football. So how they combine together will be interesting to see. Japan are traditionally not the greatest starters in the group stages, so it will be interesting to see how far they go in the tournament, but they can compete. And after what Saudi Arabia have shown, I'm pretty sure that they will have plenty of fight in them, because that's what Japan promised. They're organized, they're compact, and they're very, very disciplined, just the way their culture is as well. And speaking of discipline, I don't think there's anybody more disciplined, particularly in Europe, than the Germans. They're so efficient. I mean, 4-time world champions, right? Out of the last 5 World Cups, they've actually made it to the semifinals or beyond in 4 editions. So that tells you a thing or two about their success. Now, एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग दौर से जर्मनी की टीम गुजरी है, जहां पे योगी लो जो काफी टाइम से उनके मैनेजर थे, वो बाहर गए और उनकी जगह ली उनके असिस्टेंट ने, हैंजी फ्लिक ने. अब हैंजी फ्लिक ने जो है बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग फुटबॉल खेली है. इंग्लैंड के बाद अगर किसी ने सबसे ज्यादा गोल मारे हैं क्वालिफाइंग में, यूरोपियन क्वालिफाइंग में, तो वो जर्मनी की टीम है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली टीमो वर्नर, वन ऑफ देयर बेटर फॉरवर्ड्स, इज नॉट अवेलेबल टू देम ड्यू टू इंजरी इन दिस वर्ल्ड कप. लेरॉय साने भी इस मैच से पहले इंजर्ड घोषित कर दिए गए हैं, तो वो भी नहीं है. So some exciting talent that you will not be able to see, but they still have somebody called Jamal Musiala. If you don't know him, please look him up. One of the rising stars. हमने जूड बेलिंगम की बात की थी अपने प्रीव्यू में, हमने फिल फोर्डन की बात की थी. Watch out for Jamal Musiala, possibly one of the candidates for the young player of this World Cup as well. Absolutely phenomenal. Silk and steel in midfield. बंदा create कर सकता है chances. He can put in the hard yards. He can put in the tackles as well. Strong and very, very creative and very sharp. And Hansi Flick, जो उनके कोच हैं, he's obviously, very, very delighted that he's got the services of Jamal Musiala at his disposal. Not just that, they've also got somebody like Serge Gnabry. And guess what? They've got Thomas Muller, the machine Muller, as he's called. 10 World Cup goal मारे यार Thomas Muller ने. ऐसा लगता है that he's just an age-defying footballer, and he's going to be playing once again. Apart from that, there's a very exciting youngster called Mukoko, who you should definitely watch out for. Again, beautiful story. Was in Africa with his grandparents till the age of 10, but उनके father German citizen थे, तो वो Germany आए. उनको काफी limited opportunities मिली club के लिए as a striker, but then Erling Haaland moved to Manchester City, and since then he's been getting regular opportunities. A very, very lethal goal scorer in the making. Still only 18. In fact, he turned 18 on the day the World Cup started. So a lot of promise in this Germany team that is obviously looking ahead to the future. I love to see how they go, because last time, जो पिछला World Cup था, it was the first time that Germany got knocked out in the group stages since 1950, which tells you the history of success, that they don't usually get knocked out because they're so good in making the knockouts and getting past those stages very quickly. So Germany पे मेरी नजर रहेगी इस World Cup opener में उनके लिए. Can Japan surprise them after Saudi Arabia? I won't put it past Japan either, but this Germany side is certainly very exciting to watch. Alright, on to Spain then. और जल्दी से उन पे नजर डालते हैं, because वो भी Germany और Japan के साथ इस Group E में है, जहां पे उनका मुकाबला होगा Costa Rica से. Now, Spain are an interesting one, right? Because they were European champions in 2008, then they became world champions in 2010, then they became European champions again in 2012. But guess what? After that historic golden generation run, जहां पे उन्होंने 3 major trophies जीती 4 years के period में, they haven't reached a major tournament final since then. Trouble, 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 trouble. But what have they gone on to do ever since? They've gotten Luis Enrique as a manager, and they've got some really exciting young talent. एक तरह से स्क्वाड रिवैम्प किया है, लेकिन अपनी स्टाइल नहीं बदली, which is very rare to see, right? एक नया मैनेजर आता है, नए प्लेयर्स आते हैं, लेकिन स्टाइल philosophy वही रहती है. What is Spain very good at? They're very good at maintaining possession. They keep the ball very well. They're very good at creating chances. They're very good at scoring some beautiful goals as well. अब ये तीनों चीजें अगर इसी ऑर्डर में हो जाए तो क्या कहने. दिक्कत ये है कि स्पेन अपने ओपनिंग मैचेस में अच्छा करती ही नहीं है. अगर उनके ओपनिंग मैचेस की बात करें तो आई थिंक देव no team has lost more than their 7 opening matches, right? Which is such an anomaly for a powerhouse like Spain. क्योंकि हम Spanish football इतना देखते हैं, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Villarreal, Sevilla, and all of that. You just find it bizarre that how can these players, who some of them play in Spain, most of them play in Spain, cannot combine well as a team. But that's what's been happening over the last 10 years. But now they've got the likes of Gavi, exciting young talent, Pedri, beautiful young talent. I mean, one of the most phenomenal footballers you'll see when he's on song. Marco Asensio for them has been in great form. Ferran Torres has been banging in the goals as well. He's likely to lead the line for Spain as well. And apart from that, they've got this youngster called Ansu Fati. तो ये जो 5 नाम हैं, इन पे अपनी नजर रखिएगा. Gavi, Pedri, Ferran Torres, Marco Asensio, और उसके साथ साथ Ansu Fati, because they could very well dictate how Spain go in this World Cup, in this Group E in particular, and of course in the future in the major world tournaments. On the other side, if you look at Costa Rica, तो Costa Rica ने I think कुल मिला के अपने वर्ल्ड कप इतिहास में 5 मैच जीते. Interestingly, 5 में से वो 3 मैच जो हैं वो वर्ल्ड कप ओपनर्स रहे. I don't know, I'm just saying, superstition. In case they go on to do well in their opening game, you never know, they could surprise Spain as well. But I think Spain's bigger challenge will come in the form of Germany, perhaps even Japan, but definitely Germany is the game that you'll be watching out for. Should be comfortable for them today, and Costa Rica's coach has already kind of started playing mind games. Luis Fernando Suarez ने already declare कर दिया है कि भाई स्पेन तो बहुत अच्छी फुटबॉल खेलती है, उनके कोच जो है वो बहुत महान है. So let's see what we can achieve, but we look to surprise them. So he's already taken that defensive stance. Now the onus is on Spain, because after France and after some of the bigger powerhouses like Argentina and Brazil, you'll probably think Spain and Germany are looking for that World Cup title as well. So they'd be looking to start their campaign on a high because of the challenge of Germany to come. So Costa Rica को हराना एक औपचारिकता है उनके लिए, एक मजबूरी है, and they have to achieve that tonight. And with that, we've come to the end of another review/preview. मेसी की अर्जेंटीना हार गई, क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो ने मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड को बाय बाय बोल दिया. हमारा भी बाय बाय बोलने का टाइम आ गया. But not before. I urge you guys to write your comments and tell us what you thought of Messi and Argentina's result against Saudi Arabia, what you thought of Cristiano Ronaldo parting ways with Manchester United, and what is your scoreline prediction for the Spain game against Costa Rica and perhaps Germany's game against Japan? कोई ऐसे गोल स्कोरर्स हैं जिन पे आपकी नजर होगी, कोई ऐसे प्लेयर्स हैं जिनको आप देखना चाहेंगे आज You can catch all the live action on the Sports 18 network. I'll be there with Wayne Rooney, Robert Perez, Luis Figo, Sol Campbell, and Pradyum Reddy. And don't miss it. 1 hour before kickoff, before every single game, I will see you there. Jio Cinema, Sports 18 network, जिस पे भी आप आना चाहें देखिए हमें, और हम मिलेंगे आपको एक नए प्रीव्यू के साथ अगले दिन. Bye bye.